it was tough because we launched the token in August 2021, and it kind of did okay, and then
got crushed by the market.
Yeah,
probably.
you've got supply that's coming out at that point. Like you're becoming more diluted, and that's difficult. I think what we were just like very transparent about the whole thing, like.
Got like the side of building the company and having becoming an ad tech company, but you've also got the investor side, which is like the venture capitals.
Yeah.
And if you take that to Web3, then there are so many venture capitals at this point. The current market is just like whatever project you build, you will get money.
Yeah.
I remember that Starknet was raising on like 8 billion valuation.
Nice.
That's like ridiculous.
I don't know where'd you go from there,
Yeah, maybe they were consuming some stuff, but anyways, at least they got like 200 million out of that, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the valuation is just ridiculous. I think the reason why VCs keep on investing is for the wrong reasons, which is we've got people being seated there that needs to make money, so they got external investors.
Yeah.
They're getting paid by management fee, and they need to keep on investing.
Yeah.
And these are the ones that will be selling, like the OpenAI or any company that goes into the curve. They will be selling it and won't be having the hands-on materiality. There are some smaller ones, VCs, that are just doing some investments. Like we are also sole LP. We don't have external investors. Makes it very flexible.
Yeah.
Like there's not someone standing behind me saying, you need to invest or you need to make the money. We've got another VC in Amsterdam that had a very good investment in Celestia.
Okay, yeah.
And that did an enormous return. But the investors were saying, you need to but they couldn't get out of it. They have a lockup.
Yeah.
So I think that if you have the VCs on board, it's a very tricky situation to be in because they can just distract you from all the things that you need to do. You're kind of responsible to them. How do you deal with all those parties at this point? I think most are out already.
Yes. So our private sale was in 2021 and the vesting finished in middle of 2022.
Oh, that's short.
Yeah, so we did 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And I certainly felt pressure because you knew there was unlocks coming. And there's still that period of time where the exchange is obviously not as mature as it wasn't as mature as it is now.
It's a future
by definition, right? But it's it was tough because we launched the token in August 2021, and it kind of did okay, and then
got crushed by the market.
Yeah, you've got supply that's coming out at that point. Like you're becoming more diluted, and that's difficult. I think what we were just very transparent about the whole thing. Here's what we're building. Here's the roadmap. Here's the people that we're speaking to. This is where we're getting to. This is where we think it's going to be going. We've been doing. LabTalks is 3 years old now. We've gone from my now wife and mum probably listening to it to a few more people than that, which is cool. I'm not just talking to myself anymore. But
I know how it feels. I started the exact same way.
Yeah, you just you get the podcast stuff. You're like, yeah, I'm a podcaster, and then you look, you're like, oh, 1 view, not yet. We're getting there. Yeah, it's better than 0, right? But then I'm like, oh, I watched it. Fuck, so it is 0.
I think one of the bigger podcasters, Chris Williamson, just said the other day that he had 2.5 years of barely any views before he took off.
Yeah.
So
it's a long time in the doldrums, isn't it? Just barren, and then you see the oasis.
And also, 90% of the podcasters quit before they get to the 10th episode.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think if you've released 21 episodes or more, you're in the top 5% of podcasts that have ever existed.
Really?
I believe that's the stat. But to go back to your question, I'm really fortunate to have co-founders like I've got. So like, there's certain things that I'm responsible for. Chorley takes care of the operations, does an amazing job at that. And then Chandru is a wizard, like genuinely one of the kindest and smartest people I've ever worked with, and has like built out this amazing development team in his image, really, of just like really talented people that work really hard, that get behind the mission of where we're trying to go. And I think that's another thing, is that you hit and miss when you hire people, right? And like, you get better at hiring people, and that's a lot of what I spend my time doing. It's like, okay, who do we need to hire, and where do we get them from? And to begin with, it's like, okay, if we know them, they're probably going to want to take the risk. But then it's like people that you know, and that presents its own challenges anyway. But I think we're fortunate that the ad tech industry has become a little bit turgid. I kind of use this expression that we're like just kind of, it feels like it's butting up against the limits of the technology on which it's built. And that's why they're kind of looking back
just
inside.
like if you're working out for 8 years, you're like, you can't break through that.
Yeah, like, exactly. Yeah. You need to like use new infrastructure, or like change a workout program, do whatever it is that you need to do. And then people are hearing about blockchain a lot more now. So they're like,
that's true.
Oh, that's cool. And you guys do that for something I already know. I know about ad tech. I know how to sell ad campaigns. I know the issues, and you solve those. I'm like, yeah, we're solving those. They're like, that's pretty cool. Like, we've just hired a new seller, Lauren from Taboola. Taboola's a massive ad tech company. I think they do over $1 billion in revenue. And she was like, what you guys are doing is pretty cool. I'd like to come and join your team. And I'm like, that's amazing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like, that's cool, you know? So, yeah, the long-winded answer is that we kind of split up the things that we need to do, and we just trust each other. And it's
also beautiful. Like, you're working with your sister as well.
I have, she's our third employee, fourth employee after Chandru, I suppose. But she's come on leaps and bounds. You know, like, she was selling or marketing point of sale software for laundrettes, and now does everything for the marketing for Alkimi. It's like been really cool as a big brother to see your younger sister like,
I bet,
grow up, because 4 years now.
It's for us, like, not really. Like, I started this with my girlfriend, and our first team member was her sister.
Okay, yeah.
So we're kind of like a family business.
Yeah.
Doing that in crypto is kind of like relaxing. Like, I've been building the previous company with one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Didn't really feel good. So then once it doesn't click, the company usually goes the other way around.
Yeah.
And now we're building it with the three of us and having a lovely team of guys around it. It gives its challenges, but indeed, they are lovely. They are responsible for what they do. They're good at what they do. And it also helps that you know that they're actually, you can trust them.
Yeah.
That's the big difference there. You know that if you say a certain phrase, that they understand what you're saying, and the other way around.
Yeah.
So in terms of productivity, it goes up quite fast, because if you hire new staff members, you usually need to have like 3 to 6 months to explain everything, to get to know each other. Yeah. You don't need to do that anymore. But then on the other way around, if we go home, whatever. How was your day? Yeah, we know. It's like kind of the balance is sometimes, especially in crypto, when the markets are going to go up.
Yeah.
It's all about crypto.
Yeah, it gets intense, doesn't it? Like, most out there prediction for the next 6 to 12 months, like, get bullish on me. If you enjoyed that episode, there's many more on our YouTube channel, on our Spotify and Apple podcasts. To make sure you don't miss the next episode, make sure you have your notifications turned on so you can hear the next great conversation we have with our next guest.